Welcome to British Accent Podcast. Hello and welcome to the British Accent Podcast, where we help you improve your English skills with practical tips and real conversations. I'm Oliver, your host for today.
And I'm Jake. In today's episode, we're tackling a common challenge for English learners understanding different English accents. Have you ever felt completely lost when listening to someone with a strong accent?
You're definitely not alone. English is spoken in so many ways across the world, from British and American accents to Australian, South African, and even regional variations within the same country.
Exactly. So today, we'll share practical techniques to train your ear, get comfortable with different accents, and boost your overall listening skills.
Let's dive in.
All right, let's start by understanding why accents can be so tricky. When you're learning English, chances are you're exposed mostly to a standard version, maybe British, RP received pronunciation, or general American. But when you step into the real world, people speak with different regional accents, speed, and even slang.
That's so true. And let's be honest, some accents can feel much harder to understand than others. For example, someone might be comfortable with an American accent but struggle with Scottish or Indian English. Why do you think that happens?
It usually comes down to exposure. The more you listen to a certain accent, the easier it becomes to understand. But if you've never heard it before, your brain struggles to recognize the sounds and patterns. It's like a puzzle where the pieces don't quite fit yet.
Exactly. So if you want to get better at understanding different accents, the key is training your ear. Let's go over some practical ways to do that.
First, expose yourself to a variety of accents regularly. You can do this by watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos featuring people from different English-speaking countries. Try watching with subtitles first, then turn them off to challenge yourself.
That's a great tip. Another technique is using podcasts. Find podcasts from different regions and listen to them during your commute or while doing chores. Even if you don't understand every word at first, your brain will start adapting over time.
And don't forget about music. Songs are a fun way to pick up on pronunciation and rhythm differences. Plus, if you look up the lyrics, you can match what you hear with the words on the page, which helps with comprehension.
That's a good one. Another tip is shadowing listening to a short clip of someone speaking and trying to repeat exactly what they say, mimicking their accent and intonation. It helps you get used to the rhythm of different accents while improving your own pronunciation.
Yes, and if you want to take it a step further, try speaking with native speakers from different regions. Language exchange apps like Tandem or HelloTalk are great for connecting with people worldwide.
These strategies make a huge difference over time. The key is to stay patient and consistent. Your brain is constantly learning, even when it feels challenging.
Absolutely. And one thing that really helps is focusing on patterns rather than individual words. For example, instead of stressing over every single word, try to understand the overall rhythm and flow of speech. Different accents have different musicality. Once you tune into that, things start making more sense.
That's such a great point. And speaking of patterns, contractions and connected speech play a big role. Native speakers often blend words together, which can make it tricky for learners. Like, instead of saying, "What are you doing?" someone might say, "What you doing?" If you train yourself to expect these changes, accents become less intimidating.
Yes. A fun way to practice is by listening to audio at different speeds. Start slow to catch the words, then gradually increase the speed to get used to real-life conversation pace. Many apps, like YouTube and podcast players, let you adjust playback speed.
And don't forget context clues. Even if you don't understand every single word, you can often figure out the meaning based on tone, body language, and surrounding words. That's why watching interviews or TV shows with visual context is so helpful.
Oh, and let's talk about dialects. A lot of learners confuse accents with dialects. Accents are just pronunciation differences, but dialects can include different vocabulary and grammar too. That's why listening to different regions is so important. It broadens your understanding beyond just pronunciation.
Exactly. So, if you're struggling with accents, remember, it's not about learning every single one perfectly. It's about training your ear, exposing yourself to different speech styles, and staying open to the learning process.
Absolutely. And another great way to improve is shadowing. This means listening to a sentence and immediately repeating it, mimicking the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible. It's one of the best exercises for getting used to different accents.
Yes, shadowing is such an effective technique because it forces your brain to process sounds in real time. It also helps with pronunciation and fluency, so you're improving multiple skills at once. And if you're unsure where to start, try TED Talks or audiobooks, since they often feature speakers from different English-speaking countries.
That's a brilliant idea. Audiobooks especially give you exposure to a single accent for a longer period, which helps your brain adapt naturally. And if you want something more casual, watching interviews of international celebrities is great too. They often switch between accents depending on who they're talking to, so you get a mix of styles in one conversation.
Oh, I love that suggestion. Also, don't be afraid to use subtitles at first, but try to wean yourself off them over time. They can be a great tool, but the goal is to train your ear to understand spoken English without relying on text.
Exactly. And if you're feeling stuck, record yourself speaking and compare it to native speakers. It's an eye-opening exercise that helps you notice where your pronunciation differs and what you need to work on.
That's such a great tip. Plus, it's a confidence booster. You'll see how much you improve over time. Alright, we've covered so many useful strategies. Should we throw in a quick challenge for our listeners?
Great idea. Listeners, here's your challenge. Pick a 30-second clip from a podcast, interview, or TV show with an accent you're not used to. Listen to it 3 times first with subtitles, then without, and finally, try shadowing it. Let us know how it goes.
That's a fantastic challenge. Training your ear takes time, but with consistent practice, you'll start noticing big improvements in how well you understand different English accents.
Absolutely. And remember, don't stress too much if you don't catch every single word. Focus on the general meaning first, and over time, your brain will naturally adapt to different accents and speech patterns.
We hope today's episode gave you some useful strategies to help you train your ear for different English accents. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us grow and reach more English learners like you.
And of course, we'd love to hear from you. What accents do you find the most challenging? What methods have helped you improve? Share your thoughts with us on social media or in the comments.
Thanks for listening to British Accent Podcast. Keep practicing, keep listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.